Hey, Annie, I'm wondering how, I know that right now your family is struggling with trying to find care for a couple of your family members who are older and have some health issues.
Mm-hmm.
What would your experience, what do you think your experience would have been like if you'd known ahead of time about your own home care services?
That's a great question. I wish that I could go back maybe 10 years to a time when we had the money, the resources, and the wherewithal to actually start planning for this time in our lives. We did not know that back then. So none of us have an actual savings fund or anything to finance the needs of the older people in our home, in our family right now. So especially with my aunt, who is currently dealing with terminal lung disease and dementia. Although she has 7 children, none of us knew how to pre-plan for an occasion such as this where she needs the extra care.
Were you also operating under the assumption, as many people do, that since the family was so large, it wouldn't be a problem? You'd be able to figure out how to take care of her.
Sure.
You could take turns, nobody would get stressed out.
Exactly.
What has happened?
Well, you never know what's going to happen in life, and I think that when everyone is happy and we all have jobs and everyone has the great income coming in, the economy's great, you really don't think about 20 years from now when maybe someone needs that extra care. I think that the problem that we're seeing right now is that no one in that family, because of the economy right now, has the money to really put into the humongous expense of the care that my aunt now needs.
But your own home care offers the option to stay at home,
Yeah.
be cared for by someone as if they were being cared for by a family member,
Right.
and it doesn't have all those hidden costs.
Exactly.
And I think that a lot of people don't realize how taxing it is to be a caretaker of a loved one. It really is exhausting. There is caretaker burnout, and that's something a lot of people don't realize. Is that something that you're running into?
Absolutely. People, even though I think it's out of the love for their parent or whoever it is, I think a lot of times they think that they would do anything to help them, and when they're actually into the daily minutia of the care and what that person needs, they find all too late, I think, that they just don't have the tools or the means or the time or the education and training to actually be able to properly take care of these people. What I learned myself, just through my own experience with my father, who passed away from a brain tumor, we had him at home. And just that experience in itself was overwhelming. And I was home with my mother, the two of us taking care of him full time. Even the two of us couldn't do it properly. We needed to have in-home care coming in several times a day to help take care of him in the end. So.
Well, it's emotionally draining.
Yeah.
And it's physically draining, and you're not trained for it. And not everybody, as much as you love someone, not everybody is cut from that certain sort of cloth that can do caretaking. It takes a special kind of person that really, the caretakers that I've met that work for your own home care genuinely love what they're doing. They refer to their clients as their angels or their little ladies, and they talk about how much they love them and enjoy them and appreciate them. And I think that takes there's some people that are really more cut out for that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the thing that I do love about your own home is that Gina takes that personal extra step to get to know the needs of the individual who needs the care and actually place somebody with them who would be great personality-wise, relationship-wise, who would actually fit
into the whole family.
Into the whole family,
yeah.
Exactly. And that's such a beautiful, loving gesture, such a trust thing that is necessary for people to actually be able to say, I really trust that my mother or father or whoever is in the right hands with this one person coming in.
It gives them peace of mind. It gives everyone peace of mind, and that is essential. And the fact that they treat them, I mean, they're very dedicated to maintaining the patient's dignity. And that's not always the case.
Right. And how often do we make these decisions when they come up in an emergency, in an urgent state, because maybe some kind of medical emergency has occurred, and within several days you have to decide, oh, how am I going to be taking care of this person? And all too often, again, people just don't know enough about your own home. They don't know enough about what it's going to entail to take care of that person, because, again, it's an emergency and it just comes up out of the blue. So, yeah, it's so important to know.
And I think the fact that your own home care is privately owned and operated, and they are able to maintain those ideals, that they're more interested in quality than quantity, and they're very, very they stick to that basic tenet of making sure that people get the kind of care that they would want to have for their own family.
Exactly. It's personalized and it's compassionate, you know, and I think that's built on the experience that Gina had herself, you know, her personal experiences, and that's a wonderful thing.
Is there if you had anything that you would want to urge other people to do, what would it be?
Pre-planning and to really be educate yourself to do the research now. Hopefully, if something of this nature comes up where you have someone who needs the care, and I think that in time everybody will experience it, that you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to do when those occasions come up, and that your own home is definitely a huge part of that process. You want the best care possible, and your own home is the best, I believe, personally, from experience. They have the personalized, compassionate touch.
Well, they're available 24/7, and, I mean, nothing's a problem. They're totally flexible.
Yeah.
Somebody calls up at 3 o'clock in the morning and goes, they go, okay, don't worry about it. And you can breathe.
Yes.
What a nice feeling that is.
Yes.
How wonderful. You don't get an answering service, you get a person. And that in itself is a rarity these days.
Well, that in itself is worth the money that you would normally be investing in a hospital stay. I mean, the bills that come from hospitals are astronomical. We're also going through that too right now.
And there are no hidden costs.
Right. There are no hidden costs with your own home. And just knowing that, having the confidence in the fact that I could call your own home, I could call Gina, and somebody is there to answer and speak with me directly at any time is so worth it. So worth that peace of mind.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Just that they're just amazing, and I wish that people would really get the value there. And I don't think people go that distance to think about the future like they should.
Well, there have been several studies done. One of them, an AARP study, was done that stated that people tended to live longer, recuperate faster, be generally happier when they were in their own home, surrounded by their own things where they've been all their lives. It just makes sense.
It does. It does.
Thanks, Annie, for your time.
Thank you.